Hey everybody, it's Mr. Marshall, and here I am at Stony Lane, and I'm sitting in the counseling room with Mrs. Shah, who's our school counselor, and this is a new segment for the channel called Tool Time because we're going to talk about some of the tools that help you learn, right? Sometimes when we're working in school or when we're doing something with our friends, we get these big feelings, right? And it's really hard to concentrate on other things because we have these feelings that are kind of in the way because of something that's going on. So Mrs. Shah is going to help us learn some of the tools that she has here in this room, or tools that you can use in your own house if you have stuff or if you want to get stuff, to help you deal with some of these feelings. Okay? All right. So Mrs. Shah, sometimes what happens is when we have these big feelings, we have all this energy, and we need to figure out how to address it and what the right tool is. So can you show us what this thing is and how that helps you figure that out?
So this is called a coping skills wheel, and sometimes when you come to my office you might not know what will help you feel better or calm down. So I would ask you to spin the wheel, and on here I have different coping skills, and I'll read some examples. One of them is hug a stuffy, so you can grab a stuffed animal and just hug it while you talk to me. Blowing bubbles to do some mindful breathing. Just doing some stretching, kind of like yoga stretches. Drawing, counting. We can go outdoors for a walk. Listening to music, coloring, just talking, breathing, reading, and so on. So those are some ideas as to what you can do to help yourself, and I will help you and guide you through it.
Thanks, Mrs. Shah. So, all of these things are fun things to do, but you have to know which is the right thing for you today. So for this segment today, we're going to talk about sometimes we have all this energy, and it helps us to get our energy out by moving our hands a little bit. Okay, so the tools we're going to talk about today are happy hand tools, right? Tools that help us with here I am, that help us with getting our energy out through our hands. So can you show us some of the tools that help us to do that?
Yes. So we call those tools fidgets, and I have some here just laid out for students to use when they come in. So these are the tools, and I have some really fun ones in here that students like to use when they come in. They can pick for themselves. So I have fidgets like a squishy one, and that helps them because while their hands are working, they can talk to me easier. I have something like a pop-it, these bendy sticks that they really like, and sometimes not just for your hands but for your eyes, like the glitter in this tool going down, it helps them, and it's also something that they can hold. I also have this little toy that you match the color with the circle, so they can play with that while we talk. Another one is these magnetic balls that they can just move around in their hand, and they won't fall on the floor, hopefully, because they're magnetic. And then just some fun little sensory items for their hands. So it's just a mixture of all those things in this container.
Right. Sometimes when you move your hands around, it gets some of that energy out, and then you don't have to worry about feeling like you have all this energy. You can think about your problem after you do that. So here's a big squishy duck. I can just squeeze that, and it feels good. It feels good to do that, and then you get some of that extra energy out. So in your room here, there's a place where some of these things are stored. Can you show us that?
So in here, I have some that students can take with them if they still have the need for it. So these are the squishies, we call them, and they can choose one to take. So they're all in here. They can just take whatever they need that day, and these are all squishies, we call them, like I said. And then some other fidgets that I have in our fidget station are poppets. So a bunch of different ones that they could choose from, sort of fun, Fun is the key, I feel like. So if you like hamburgers and you are really upset and you want to talk to me, you could play with this one, some things that you like on your own. We also have some strings that you could stretch, or some rings that you can spin while you talk to me. And then lastly, we have skill toys. Toys that, not toys, but tools that use your brain a little bit more. Like this one, you can make a picture with the magnetic beads, or you can do a maze. Here's a ball in here, and you can follow the maze. And also the strings that you could put in the ridges. So,
wow.
there's a lot.
There's a lot. So that's so cool. So these are fun to use, but they're not just for fun. They're not just toys. These are tools. Can you show us what this sand works like?
Oh yes, so sometimes you just want to play with something with your hands that feels more like something you're more familiar with, like sand. So this is kinetic sand. You can open this and kind of just like roll this ball, and it makes the sand into the pattern that you are seeing right now. And they like to use that while they talk to me. Or sand like at the beach. This is that type of sand, the sand that you would see at the beach. And they just can rake it and play with the different toys while we talk.
Great. So one last question, because this is called tool time, right? So this is fun to do, but we don't just do it because it's fun. So can you tell us the difference between, like, how come we don't call these toys? Why do we call them tools?
Because they're tools because we use them with our focus in mind. We're not just playing with something just to have fun. We're playing with something to take our mind off of whatever it is that's worrying us or making us experience those big feelings.
Right. So if you've ever seen anyone building something with tools, some of the tools they use are hammers or screwdrivers or a saw. They don't use them because they're fun, right? They use them because they need to nail something in or cut it in half, right? They know why they use it. And so the same thing is true with these. If you know why you use these tools, then you're going to use them really well. And then you're going to do a great job in getting your feelings out so you can keep doing your work. Okay? Thanks, Mrs. Shah.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.